My goodness. Brianna Turner was on this team for I don't even know if it was 24 hours. Because I can't imagine why you would sign her. I understand she's supposed to be this great defensive player. But is it worth taking a flamethrower to your fan base and your locker room, by the way?
So the Indiana Fever fans are furious with this signing. Absolutely furious with the fact the Fever have signed someone who appears to be a Caitlin Clark hater in Brianna Turner. A lot of the tweets and stuff do not look good. Do not look good from Bri Turner.
Can a single tweet destroy an athlete's career? For Brianna Turner, it just might. In less than 24 hours after joining the Indiana Fever, Turner went from a promising defensive asset to the most hated player on the team. Imagine the excitement. The Fever, a team on the rise, made a big move to add a veteran presence who is supposed to be a defensive powerhouse. Fans were thrilled. But just like that, everything turned upside down. It's a shocking turn of events, and what happened next will leave you wondering, how did we get here? Well, brace yourself because this story is full of controversy, unexpected turns, and social media fireworks that you won't believe. The Indiana Fever fans were on cloud nine when Brianna Turner was signed. It was the kind of announcement that should have ignited an entire fan base. After all, she wasn't just another player in the off-season shuffle. She was supposed to be a key piece of a larger puzzle. The Fever were finally on the verge of something special, and Turner's signing was supposed to be the finishing touch that would push them into true contender status. For years, the Fever had been rebuilding, searching for the right combination of players to create a championship-caliber roster. And after all that rebuilding, they had finally found their centerpiece in Caitlin Clark. Clark was the future of the team, an undeniable talent who had already taken the college basketball world by storm. She was the face of the Fever's new era, the kind of player who could reignite the franchise and bring attention back to the league.
So, what did they need next?
A strong, defensive-minded player who could complement her game and help the Fever become a true powerhouse. That's where Brianna Turner came in. Turner was widely known as a formidable defensive player. Her ability to block shots, shut down the opposition, and be a physical presence on the court made her the ideal candidate for a team looking to balance out its offensive firepower. With Caitlin Clark bringing the points, Turner was expected to provide the muscle that would give the Fever a well-rounded roster capable of competing for championships. Fans had high hopes for this combination. It was the kind of move that suggested the Fever were serious about winning and ready to build something sustainable for the future. Turner's leadership and veteran experience were just the pieces they needed to take this team to the next level. Everything was supposed to fall into place. But as soon as the news broke, the Fever fanbase buzzed with excitement. There was a surge of optimism across social media, forums, and even ticket sales. But as is often the case with high-profile signings, there was also an undercurrent of hesitation. Why wouldn't there be? Yes, Turner had an impressive defensive resume, but she was a new face to many. While fans were familiar with Caitlin Clark and her meteoric rise, Turner didn't carry that same kind of name recognition. She was entering a franchise where expectations were sky high and the pressure to fit in was immense. Fans naturally began asking questions. Would she gel with the team? Could she truly live up to the hype? And what about her fit with Clark, who was already the star and face of the franchise? The Fever needed a player who could mesh seamlessly with the team's leader, not one who might disrupt the flow of the already tight-knit group. As the excitement swirled, there was an underlying curiosity that couldn't be ignored. Fans wanted to know who Brianna Turner really was, not just as a player, but as a person, a teammate, and a member of the Fever's growing culture. And that's when the unexpected happened. It didn't take long for things to take a dramatic turn. In less than 24 hours of Turner's signing announcement, the conversation around her changed completely. What should have been a time of celebration quickly became a time of confusion, disappointment, and even anger. How did the excitement shift so quickly? Well, what fans didn't anticipate was the revelation that Turner wasn't just joining a new team, she was stepping into a fiery storm of controversy. And it all started with her past, her social media past. Suddenly, Brianna Turner wasn't just the new defensive anchor the Fever had hoped for. She was a villain in the eyes of many. It all started when fans dug up old tweets that painted a very different picture of Turner. The tweets were there for everyone to see, buried in the past, but now they were coming back to haunt her. What did she tweet, you ask? Well, it wasn't pretty. The first red flag came when Turner mocked the Iowa Hawkeyes celebration after their NCAA runner-up finish. Iowa, led by Caitlin Clark, had just completed one of the greatest college basketball seasons we've ever seen. And what does Turner do? She took to Twitter to question why a team that came in second place would throw a celebration. Here's the kicker. That second-place team was led by Caitlin Clark, the same player who had just signed with the Fever to lead them into the future. You can't throw shade like that and not expect a backlash. The tweet read, "Iowa will hold a celebration to honor the NCAA runner-up." All players and coaches expected this. Respectfully, I'm confused. Does a runner-up usually do this? Now, that wasn't just a harmless question. It wasn't some offhand remark made in passing. It was a direct shot, one that was clearly intended to make the celebration seem unnecessary, even petty. It wasn't just disrespectful to Iowa, it was disrespectful to Clark and her fans. And the Fever fans were quick to take notice. At this point, the backlash had already begun, and you might think that a seasoned professional like Brianna Turner would recognize the growing tension and try to smooth things over. Think again. Instead of apologizing or trying to explain herself, Turner decided to dig in her heels. Fans flooded her mentions, calling her out for the disrespectful tweet, hoping for an apology or some acknowledgement. Did she backpedal?
Nope.
Turner doubled down in the most shocking way possible. Her response to the angry fans was something like a slap in the face. "Feel free to unfollow me or block me if that's bothersome to you," she said. It was a line that would haunt her for weeks to come. Fans couldn't believe it. This wasn't just a harmless mistake from years ago. It was a statement made in real time, aimed at the very people who were welcoming her to the Fever. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were furious. How could Turner come into this franchise, a team that had just made Caitlin Clark the center of its universe, and attack the fanbase like that? The storm was far from over. As Turner's defiant stance continued, the Fever fans grew even more enraged. The backlash didn't just stay on Twitter. It spilled over into the Fever's fanbase, where supporters took to every platform to voice their concerns. And the anger wasn't just about Turner's tweets. It was about her outright disregard for the very people who had embraced Caitlin Clark and elevated her to iconic status in the WNBA. One fan tweeted, "We were excited about defense. Now we're defending Clark from our own player." That line said it all. Fans no longer saw Turner as a valuable addition to the team. They saw her as a liability. And things only got worse when other fans began joking that Turner was speedrunning the "How to Ruin Your Welcome" challenge. That's when the situation reached a boiling point. There were those who even called for Turner to be cut before she ever stepped foot on the court. Now, this isn't something you see every day. A player who had barely been introduced to the team was already being condemned by the very fanbase she was supposed to be representing. The Fever fans had one simple question: why is Brianna Turner even here? And it wasn't just about the tweets anymore. It was about team chemistry, respect for the franchise, and the future of the Fever. Here's where it all ties back to Caitlin Clark. For the Fever, this isn't just about adding a player to the roster. It's about building a team around a once-in-a-generation talent. Clark is the face of the franchise, and the Fever's future hinges on her success. But Turner? She's not just disrespecting the fans. She's disrespecting Clark, the very player around whom the Fever have structured their entire identity. Clark's impact on the Fever goes beyond basketball. Her signing put the team back on the map. The Fever are relevant again, thanks to her. The media is watching. Ticket sales are up. And now, Turner's first move as part of this new dynasty was to alienate those very people who had just started believing in the team's future. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a movement. She's the reason this team is getting national media attention, the reason Fever fans are flooding the stadium. So how does Turner expect to fit in with the Fever fans when she's taking shots at Clark? How can she possibly expect to play in harmony with the rest of the team when she's causing such chaos outside the court? The Fever need to build a winning culture, and Turner's antics threaten to destroy that before it even begins. Now comes the hard question. What happens next? Brianna Turner can't take back what she's done. The tweets are out there, the defiant responses are still fresh, and the tension is palpable. Does she apologize? Does she try to make peace with the Fever fans who are now calling for her to be cut from the team? Or does she continue down this path, escalating the situation even further? The Fever front office is now in a tough spot. They can't afford to have a player in their locker room who's more focused on making a political statement than on building a championship contending team. Caitlin Clark is the future of the franchise, and every decision the Fever make needs to be viewed through that lens. The front office has to ask themselves, can Turner salvage the situation? Or is she already a lost cause? Turner has a choice. She can backtrack, swallow her pride, and work hard to prove she belongs. Or she can keep fighting, keep escalating, and risk losing everything. It's not just about basketball anymore. It's about understanding your place in the team, in the community, and in the culture. Will Turner make the right call? Or will she push herself out of Indiana's future? As we look at the big picture, it's clear that this isn't just about one player or one tweet. It's about what Turner represents in a broader sense. In today's social media-driven world, athletes aren't just players, they're brands. They represent more than just themselves. And Brianna Turner has shown that she doesn't quite understand the power she holds. This could be her downfall. If she can't repair her image and prove her worth on the court, she might find herself out of a job before the season even begins. In the world of the WNBA, where every move counts, Turner's misstep might cost her a career in Indiana and potentially her future in the league. So, what do you think? Can Brianna Turner recover from this? Or is she doomed to be remembered as the player who destroyed her own career with a single tweet? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story like this one. Click the video on the screen for more, and we'll see you in the next one.